Hello, everybody. Welcome to Albion Obsessed, episode number 13. We are here with Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
We are here with Curtis.
Yep.
Yeah. We definitely are. And his wonderful shirt as well.
Thank you.
And we are also joined by Tom's twin, it seems. We're joined by Cam. So hello, Cam. Everyone will know you as groundhoppercam on Twitter.
Yes.
I follow your journey across the footballing world, and it's great to see. And I want to ask you a little bit about that as well, in terms of like the best atmospheres you've seen and the best grounds you've been to. So yeah, we'll get into that for sure.
Awesome.
Guys, we're on the back of a little bit of a disappointed evening yesterday.
Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about, mate.
No, especially for the referee. He didn't seem to quite know what the hell he was doing, or know how to use tape. But hey, whatever.
I was shouting at the television. I was like, "What the fuck?"
It was just baffling, like just watching it happen. It was crazy.
It was one of those moments where you're just like, "Is this real life?"
Yeah. I was down in the corner where Trinsau and Podence were just like kicking the ball to one another for like 10 minutes. It was quite funny. But yeah, we'll get into the football in a minute. Obviously, yeah, as I say, Cam, welcome to your first appearance on Albion Obsessed.
Thank you.
You've been about a bit in the footballing world, as I say. So we'll just touch on that first. I just want to go sort of touch on your Albion history, really. When did you start supporting the club?
I've kind of always been a fan since I was a kid, but my first game was in 2006, I believe, at the Withdean. It was like the most Brighton first game to go to. It was against Crewe, if I remember rightly. We lost 4-1, and Kerry Mayer got sent off before half-time. So it was like literally the most Brighton match to happen.
Sounds about right.
Pretty standard.
And kind of since then I just kind of went to games if I went, particularly more in the Amex era. I will concede. It was just a mixture of being too young to go to the Withdean a huge amount. I was too young definitely to go to the Goldstone. I think I was like 5 when that shot. Unfortunately, I never got to go.
Right.
But yeah, I've been season ticket holder since 2015 now in the north. So
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's kind of a rough history around.
Nice one. You're about to gain one more in the north. I'm moving there for the from the Palace game.
Oh, are you?
I used to sit in the southwest corner. It's getting pretty rubbish there, to be honest. You get loads of away fans and day trippers, and you got the away fans right next to you, and it's just not a very nice atmosphere. So contacted the club, and they happily moved me, which was really, really good of them. What's the best Albion game you've been to? Because for everyone I know, you've been to a good few.
Oh, that's tough. Oh my god, there's so many. Oh my gosh, like the Wigan game when we got promoted is definitely up there, just for the occasion of it. Really, it was a fantastic occasion. I will also say the Man City game at the end of last season, like the first game back. Top. Yeah, like it was, even though there was like 10,000 in the Amex, it was an amazing atmosphere, and it was just such a
it looked electric. It really did.
It really was. It was fantastic atmosphere, and I think honestly, if the crowd hadn't been there, we probably wouldn't have won that. And it was just nice to see friends again that I hadn't seen in months, and that's exactly kind of what it's all about for me. And so that's definitely up there. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we touched on that on our last podcast as well. I reminisced about it, and Tom took us back to the days of the Nottingham Forest last minute winner with Ujoa. So yeah, that was quite fun. So yeah, as I say, you've been to a fair few grounds. So what's the best footballing sort of vibe you've had in like a city you've been to, and what's the best atmosphere you've witnessed?
Ooh. I'd probably say best atmosphere. I was very, very lucky just before COVID to go to Milan for the Milan derby.
Oh man!
So yeah, the San Siro it was a stadium on my list since I was a kid to go to, and obviously they're getting rid of it, so I was like, I have to make this trip, and luckily got tickets to that, and it was an amazing game, and it was just an amazing atmosphere, and that is definitely like right up there. It's quite
Yeah.
a big footballing city, but I think in terms of actual city having like the biggest kind of footballing vibe,
Yeah.
I'd probably say Barcelona is quite high up there because everyone is in Barcelona. Obviously, when Messi was there as well, in particular, like that it was just football crazy there, and maybe just crazy for Messi. I don't know, but definitely for the actual football club is just massive in that city. So I think that is probably very high up there as well in terms of an
Yeah.
actual city of that experience.
When I went to the new camp in the museum, I don't know if you went into the museum, but they've got like a whole shrine to Messi in there. I don't know if it's still there because obviously he's left, but
Yeah.
that was magical to see. I didn't unfortunately go to a game. I just went for like the tour. But the stadium's incredible.
It's incredible.
With the Milan derby, whose home game was it? Because I know they like share it.
I think it was Inter. I'm fairly certain of it. So where I was sitting, I think that was pretty much like the touristy area, and we were kind of above the AC Milan fans. And they went like 2-0 up, and so that was quite a atmosphere. They're letting off like flares and stuff, like right beneath us, and
decent.
And then Inter came back to win. It was an excellent game. It was just
That's mad.
Everything I hoped for with going to the San Siro. When you want to tick off a ground, that's top of your list. You kind of want it to be the best possible experience, and it was. So
Definitely.
highly recommend.
Have you been to many like international games, or do you just stick to like visiting each clubs in different countries?
I've been to England games here, but not kind of anywhere else.
Fair enough.
Yeah, when I tend to go, I like to travel around Europe and try catch a game in a city that I'm on holiday in. Perhaps we'll do a purpose football trip. When travel is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been mainly England games here, but unfortunately not any abroad.
Fair enough. And when travel is allowed, what's on the top of your list?
Dortmund.
Good shout.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
See
very,
the yellow
very
wall. Definitely.
That's replaced the San Siro as like my number one kind of ground to go to.
I was actually going to ask you that. I was going to say, what's the next? The next thing you wanted to do, but
yeah, it's definitely Dortmund. I'd love to go to there's a lot more further afield, but Boca Juniors in Argentina as well, because that also has a massive reputation for a great atmosphere.
Yeah,
but that'd be slightly more difficult, I think. So I think Dortmund hopefully next. That's definitely high on the list, and I love going to Germany. It's very cheap over there for football.
I'd love to go to Germany. It looks like a great place. Sorry, Tom, go on.
No, I was just saying that's quite refreshing. Football cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they aren't in the same sentence, are they? So,
I think I saw the buy-in season tickets were like 150 euros or something ridiculous.
Really,
that might be from way back, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. But yeah, as you say, it is quite cheap over there. Have you? One place I'd love to go is Ajax. Have you been there?
I've been on a stadium tour there, but yeah, again, that's another one kind of in the top 5 of places I'd like to go visit. So yeah, I would definitely like to go there. The stadium itself is quite impressive. Did a stadium tour a few years ago.
Oh, amazing. Fair enough. Quite historic, with a rather historic name on there. Being taken over by the Pascal Gross turn, though.
Indeed.
Can we just say their third kit this season, the Bob Marley one?
Oh, it's amazing.
They do good kits. They do really good kits, to be fair to them. You're quite the shirt collector as well, I think. If I'm not mistaken. I've seen quite a few shirts.
You beat me to the question, Joe. You beat me to the question.
Sorry, Curtis.
That's all
sorry,
right.
Mate. So what's one, I don't know if you want to answer this, but what's your most expensive shirt and what's your favourite shirt that you own?
Oh gosh.
Can I just add as well? What's your most obscure?
Yes.
Oh
my God. I have a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I do have a lot. Like, not as much as some people I know. Some people have like hundreds, and I don't have that much. But I think probably the most expensive. I have a retro Brighton one, which is I wear to most games now, and it's I think the 93-94 shirt, and I think that is probably the most expensive just because of how old it is and how rare it was.
Is that the one with the red badge on it?
No, it's It's got the stripes, but they're quite thick stripes, and they have like blue sleeves with like stars on. You like very
okay.
light stars. It's
decent.
it's a really nice shirt, and it's a button up as well, and I like the button up ones.
Cool.
Cool.
So yeah, that's probably the most expensive, I'd say, just because of the rarity of it. It was quite difficult to come across. So yeah, that's up there. Favorite shirt. I think I have to say what Tom said is probably the Bob Marley one. I have that shirt. And that,
Have you?
I do have it. Yeah.
I've tried to get it for months. I love it.
It's so nice and it's so comfortable as well because it's not like this kind of fabric. It's a much softer fabric.
Okay.
It's
cool.
just super comfortable. So I'd probably say that. And obscure shirt. I have an Atlético Nacional shirt, which is a club in Colombia. That's probably my most obscure, to be honest.
Oh, fair enough.
Just off the top of my head, but yeah, that's probably the most obscure one I think I have in my collection.
You mentioned with the fabric of football shirts, I feel like they're going towards the whole slim fit thing with like most football shirts now, which for me really sucks because it's not ideal at all. And I had to get an extra large in this year's Brighton shirt just to make it feel comfortable. So I'm hoping they go the other way because like all of my old shirts, like the ones behind me, are like really baggy and stuff. So yeah, hopefully they.
It would be nice to soon come away from Nike.
Yeah,
I've not been a huge fan of their shirts, to be honest. It always seems a bit cut and paste.
Yeah.
I mean, this shirt is beautiful. I love it.
Oh yeah, same. I love this one.
I can't remember what club I was watching the other day, but they had basically the same shirt as us as a home shirt, but it was white. I can't remember what club it was, but as you say, Nike are a little bit template city, really.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to go away from it, and I'd like to see Adidas again. Obviously, we had them way back in the 80s, so that might be quite nice, and they can do like a throwback to the FA Cup shirt. That would be really cool.
That would be.
But, some of those Adidas shirts are so nice back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, it would be great if they did like a rerun.
I love the red Phoenix Brewery one. That's really, really nice.
Oh yeah,
nice.
I know. Yeah,
that's quite rare, isn't it?
Really rare. I know, like this company like made them.
I've
like
got
knock
one
off
of them.
and. Oh, have you? Was you part of the crew that were like, why have they got suspended on Twitter?
Yeah, it's funny.
They did.
I got one from them. Yeah, I got one from them as well.
Yeah, they kind of didn't. You didn't hear it. I don't know if it was the same with you and Curtis, but they just didn't say anything for ages, and they put their account on private, so everyone was a little bit freaked out. Like, oh my god,
The shirt just arrived one day, and I was like, oh, I've got to tag them in this, like to say thanks or whatever. And then they just completely disappeared off of everything. I was like, what the fuck? Where have they gone?
It was very weird. It was just strange. I mean, I ended up getting my shirt, and I think most people got theirs. But they've like completely disappeared now. So
I think people are angling it towards maybe either Adidas or the club.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be a copyright thing or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
You guys are lucky. Very lucky to have those.
We managed to get one.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk Brighton and Hove Albion then. We have to. I'm really sorry. It's a
bloody hell, Joe.
I know. It's been a really weird week. I think obviously leading up to this game, there's been so many thoughts on who's going to start, who's out with COVID, who's going to come back from injury. It just doesn't seem very transparent at the moment. And then I really feel like the lineup surprised quite a few people. And it was stronger than expected. And for me, yesterday felt a little bit like an FA Cup game. I don't know about you guys, but the feeling around the ground, it was just didn't feel like a Premier League game at all. But Tom, you watched it and had a few issues going on at home as well.
A bit of that around. My wife decided that she'd like to set the kitchen on fire. So,
oh gosh,
pretty standard.
That's a bit selfish of her, Tom.
I know, right? I think she was being kind. She wanted to distract me from the awful things that were happening on the telly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, but no, I did have a welcome distraction from our second half. I was surprised by the lineup, but I was more surprised about the change in system. I was hoping that Hayden Roberts would start and we'd stick with the back three, 4 in midfield, and then 3 up top. We went with a 4-2-3-1 ish. I just don't think it worked. I think our strength is our wing backs. And to be fair, Wolves did a good job of keeping Cucurella especially quite contained, but we nullified Lamptey's main strength by putting him in a back 4. So it wasn't the 11 I would have picked, but you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And obviously the context of the injuries, the COVID, it was about as strong as we could have gone.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think Wolves are just so well organised. You've got to remember that Wolves held Liverpool for 95 minutes. They only conceded 1 against Man City, which was a penalty. It was always going to be tough to break them down. We couldn't just walk it in. So, unfortunately, it wasn't very surprising that we didn't manage to get a goal when we're missing our best striker. And the man who really makes us tick in Neil Maupay. So disappointing. But as soon as Wolves scored, I pretty much knew what was going to happen because, as I say, we couldn't just do our ponderous, slow build up again and again and again, hoping that we'd break them down. It just wouldn't work. And it didn't.
No, exactly. Curtis, we were quite heavy on the group chat and things were flying left, right and centre on there. You weren't too happy watching the game for sure. Well, I don't think any of us were. What was your views on the game? And where do you think our current problems lying, except for the injuries?
I mean, I feel like a broken record at this point to say striker, but it just seemed to be our main option is attacking. And looking at the initial lineup, I was like, that's not bad on paper. I was like, that's okay. I thought it's interesting. I was hoping Aaron Connolly would have a good game. I'm tired of giving him the benefit of the doubt at this point, by the way. So I was like, I feel sorry for him. He doesn't get enough game time, and then he does that. And I'm like, I wonder why he doesn't get the game time. And apparently he has a bad attitude and everything else. So it's just, and the Enoch Wepu misses and stuff like that. And the goal happened, and I was just like, okay, all right, this is going the way I thought it would go. I actually predicted. I was sat with my brother, and I said, I'm thinking it's going to be a 1-0 loss. I can just feel it. And you're right, it didn't feel like a Premier League game to me. It just, I went in, and it was just like the crowd was. To me, it sounded dead. I just heard Wolves fans throughout the entirety of the game. I didn't hear. I just heard about 70th minute, like Albion, and that's all I heard.
Do you think
that was a beautiful rendition?
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you think that last night, because of COVID, do you think the club's attitude towards ticket swapping, they have to be a £25 paid member? Do you think that's probably impacted the lack of atmosphere?
Yeah, 100%. And I really sadly feel like football is going towards another pause. I hate to say it, but it's really scary.
I don't want that to happen, but I think it probably should.
It should happen. People, as you said, Curtis, maybe people were scared to come. Maybe people definitely couldn't pass their tickets on to other people. In the past, it would be so easy because yesterday I had to go by myself. Luckily, met up with a guy called Jack who follows us on Twitter. Lovely guy.
Hello, Jack. Hi.
Hi, Jack. I normally go with my mum and my foster sister. Normally she would have picked one of her friends to come, and I would have met up with them, and we would have had a great time. And it's just impossible. When I went on holiday, put my ticket up for exchange for the Leeds game, didn't get bought. So that's already there 3 empty seats because all 3 of us didn't go.
They should make it a lot easier, definitely, to do this.
Definitely.
But I wonder how easy it is for them, like officially, to try and make that easier. because obviously they've got so many COVID regulations to get through. And
I was going to say, what with the whole new sort of COVID passports you need to get into the ground and everything else, and not everyone's going to have those as well. So, or make the effort to even get them. So,
maybe just reduce the price of the ticket sharing thing. That might help. If it was £10, I'd be well up for giving my ticket to someone. I'd say to them, "You pay me £5, I'll pay you. I'll pay £5 for you. There you go. You get to go to a Premier League football match for £5."
Yeah.
I feel like there are things that can be done. Cam, you sit in the North Stand, as you said at the start. What was your view of the game? Obviously, you had quite a good but unfortunate view of the goal. Awful defending. What was going on down that end?
To be honest, I didn't go last night.
Oh no.
So as you kind of touched upon, I just with COVID at the moment and the fact that it's Christmas just around the corner, I just wasn't willing to risk, getting ill. So that was my reasoning for not going, which I think a lot of people would be in the same boat as me. Like I think I saw a lot of that last night and today on Twitter. But what I watched it at home, and I thought first half we were okay. Like I thought we, it's kind of typical Albion, dominate possession and we concede, and unfortunately Moempian missed that glorious chance. I don't know how, but like, literally a yard out. But and then in the second half it just went downhill really badly. Like we just struggled to do the basics really. Like we couldn't seem to string like two passes together. It was just
there was a ton of errant passing, which was really, really getting to me actually.
Considering we're a passing team, that's becoming a worrying little habit.
I just hate how cheap we are in possession. Not obviously with the passes, they get intercepted all the time, and then we get caught on the break. Watching Dan Burn chase after Adama Traore was extremely terrifying,
and him making a short pass to Sanchez. I was like, oh god.
It's just the decision making seems really poor. I don't know if it's a confidence thing because that can affect decision making tenfold. But it's just like even with Trossard, like he had a good few chances to burst into the box.
I saw him last night, to be honest.
And he was trying skill moves here, skill moves there, pirouettes to try and get away from defenders. When it's just have a pop, Trossard. Like you've got the technique, you've got the ability to blast it past the goalkeeper from that range.
When he doesn't think about it so much, he usually does quite well. Things like that. So
I think maybe the role that he's been given, a bit too much pressure on him at the moment to lead the line. As we say, when Neil Maupay's in the side, we're a completely different team. We lacked that fight and the energy up front. We just move on to Aaron Connolly, whose work rate was absolutely it was disgraceful. You do not like I've paid so much money towards this football club. You guys have as well. I do not pay my money to go and watch someone pull on my football club shirt, our football club shirt, to put in a performance like that in the Premier League. I know Aaron wanted us to talk about it. Aaron was quite brutal in the group chat and said he's not even League One level. Maybe, I don't know. We haven't seen him at that level for a long time. But as I say, it's absolutely disgraceful to come onto a football pitch and just...
Thing is, he's clearly frustrated because he puts stuff out on social media, like no context stuff. And like, you'd think like he gets an opportunity to play, he gets to start, you'd think he would really just go for it. And like, I barely saw him in that first half. Like,
to be fair to him, he didn't have much to work off.
No, you're right as well. But
I think it was, for me, how he walked off the pitch when we're chasing an equaliser. You think, boy, get off that pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As I say, it is disgraceful. He's being paid a lot of money, and he, what does Graham Potter see in him? Is it because he's the only other option we have?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think it's
essentially
we have a lack of depth in that position, and we have done for a long time. And I think if we had any sort of depth, he'd be out. He'd be out on loan, or the club would have sold him by now.
I think he needs a loan. I've been saying since last season. I think he honestly needs a loan away at a championship club. Get actual game time in, get some confidence back up, because he's not going to get it with us right now. The way he's playing, like he's short of confidence.
How old is he? 21.
I'm not sure.
He's young. Yeah,
he's a young lad. He's got his whole career ahead of him, but if he's not careful, he'll go down the same road as like Said Berahino, and he'll just evaporate into obscurity.
Yeah.
And it is a really. Sorry, Tom. Go on.
I was just say, just to echo what's already been said, he needs regular game time, and he needs to build his confidence back up. And as I've said before, he needs to grow as a player and as a human. So
and I think maybe us as fans, obviously, we hold some kind of responsibility in not hammering too much. Obviously, we can have our say because we pay our money to the football club and essentially pay some of the players' wages with what we pay. So we maybe have to be careful, but also he has to be really careful because. Or the club have to be careful in protecting him because it could turn really toxic and could be one of the reasons that he might even turn around and say, I'm not going to play football anymore or something like that. As we say, he's a really young lad. He's got a lot to learn. A loan, maybe, yes, would benefit him. In my opinion, I think we should just... He needs a new start. He needs to go somewhere that he's going to be... the main man, really, because I feel like that's what he wants. Maybe whether he'll get that at this age, I don't know. But yeah, I just feel like we as a club need to get rid and he would do wonders for a new start.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Cam, you touched on Mwepu's 1 yard miss. That was right in front of me. I was literally on the goal line in the West.
What did you do, Joe, when that happened? Were you like...
I don't even know. I really don't. I probably said some things. I hit the chair in front of me. Apologies to the man that was sat in front of me. And I just couldn't believe what I'd just seen. Jack had just gone to the toilet, so he missed it. And I was sat there in utter disbelief because Wolves had just scored and we missed a chance to equalise 2 minutes later. So, yeah, not great.
Familiar story, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. It's really, really annoying. I feel like the players may be trying a bit too hard. As I say, I said it to multiple people that have asked me about the game because, as you guys have touched on, a lot of people didn't go. I felt like it would have been harder to miss that chance. He could have just stood there and let it hit him, to be honest, because the keeper had parried it out to him. All he needed to do was poke it.
And it's shin, didn't it?
To be fair, it did come at him quite quickly, but you would think he would be ready for that ball to come at him, especially if he's been given the job to wait around the keeper for a ricochet. You would have thought he'd be a bit more ready, but who knows? But yeah, that game, massive disappointment. We've got United next, guys, and
it's been called off.
Yeah, and then so we're not going to play a game for now 10 days again.
Yeah. Before we move on, I actually did want to say there's something else I have noticed that's got really bad for us, and that's set pieces.
Yesterday was awful.
So, because that used to be something that we would be quite good at. We would have like that aerial threat from like Duffy and Junk, and and just now, like I was watching the corners and stuff yesterday. And I was like, who is that going to? Like, what's the plan? I don't see this. What's going on here?
It was mad that we had someone on set pieces who's probably one of our most dangerous players from set pieces. In terms of being in the box. And after the second, I think it was corner, hit the first man, you think, get him off the corners. But he was on the next one. You're right. We were just lacking.
Sorry to bring it up, but it's true.
I love
Jacob
Jakob
Moder.
Moder. I love him,
Yeah.
but I was just like, please take him off set pieces. Like it's not going well tonight. Just please put someone else in it. I mean, we'd usually have pass off Gross on there, wouldn't we? But unfortunately, he wasn't playing.
And for someone who's like 7 billion feet tall, Dan Burn wins nothing in the air.
Yeah. Oh my God, I say this all the time. I was like, why isn't he getting his head to this? Like.
Don't know. He's probably afraid of being offside. I know when in his first season when he started for us, he had maybe 3 goals ruled offside.
Yeah, that's true.
I would always cherish the City goal though. He tripped over himself, but he scored it. So
as I said on the podcast when I was reminiscing about it, that was the most Dan Burn moment you could ever get. And I loved to see it. But yeah, Jakob Moder came out in an interview afterwards. He was very honest. Admitted that it definitely wasn't his best performance and wasn't the best performance from the team at all. The really frustrating thing is they know what they need to do, they know what they need to change, but nothing seems to give. So come January, Tom, is it just the striker we need? Is it, or do we need someone like a Anthony Knockaert or a Jose Izquierdo type player to come off the bench and have the ability to change something?
Yeah, you need that player who can come off the bench and change the game and get the fans excited. You definitely need that. But I know we bang on about a striker. We do, all of us. But Potter's been saying for a season and a half, he wants to train the players, get the best out of them, get them scoring more. But that's not happening. That's not materializing. So, you know, Albert Einstein famously said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. And that's what we're doing. I want to touch upon a tweet from Chloe, British tea hater, because I think she nailed it on the head. We miss Welbeck, not necessarily because he's an amazing player, but that front three of Trossard, Welbeck and Mopé just gave us so much up top. And since Welbeck's gone injured, we don't have the depth in that position. So we're packing the midfield with players that aren't really scoring from midfield. I get that we need the midfielders to chip in more, but we need a player to play alongside Mopé and get the best out of him.
Absolutely.
So the top of my wish list is another striker. And whether that's Ben Brereton Diaz or Chris Wood or someone from Europe.
If I hear Darwin Núñez again, I'm gonna just lose my mind. By the way, because
that
guy,
that saga is just
that'll cost us a good. If we did ever pull that deal off, it would cost us a good 60 million.
Yeah.
He's in great form. He's in great form for Benfica. He's playing Champions League football. He's one of the most looked at up and coming young players.
I don't think he wants to come. Period.
No,
so
you can blame him,
and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, if he doesn't want to come to the club, then why bother?
Move on.
Just move on.
But there's plenty of players out there who could do a job.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like who, Tom? Who would you want to get in, Tom, if you could choose someone right now?
Well, I've already said Chris Wood. I don't think he'd break the bank. The age would probably be a stumbling block because we like to sign them quite young. So for me, I would go for Ben Brereton Diaz. He's played in the under 18s in England, so there might be a bit of a link with what's his facey,
Ashworth.
Thank you. So I think there's a possibility there that we could go in for someone like that, but he'd cost about 20 mil. And would he be Premier League quality? I don't know.
Hard to say.
Another one, Dominic Solanke, maybe. Again, expensive. Bournemouth are up there. So probably not. And again, I don't think he's Premier League ready, but is he better than Aaron Connolly and Jurgen Locadia? Yes.
Oh, Jurgen Locadia, yeah.
Fair enough.
Jurgen Locadia.
So
yeah, but is that really the level that we need to be looking at? And not so much Dominic Solanke. I mean, getting better than Aaron Connolly or Jurgen Locadia.
We do need to get a proven Premier League striker.
Yeah.
But the chances of that happening within our wage structure is unlikely. So that's why we shop around Europe and we often get duds.
Because I noticed we don't do loans much, do we? We don't. Get like a loan.
And
Not anymore, no.
No, there's like Dele Alli might be out on loan in January. You know, I don't necessarily think we need another midfielder, but he's a goal-scoring midfielder who could do a job.
A threat, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Exactly
Divock Origi is one as well. I don't rate him much, but we need something.
He steps up to the plate when Liverpool need it most. He's done it on numerous occasions.
He scored against Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. So get him in. But that's the sort of attitude you need, that we need to be looking at, is someone that can take that pressure and step up to the plate when all the pressure's on. You know, he done it in the Champions League final. He did it against Everton one time, I think.
He's a proper shithouse. You know, like the 70th, 80th minute, he just comes in and scores that really important, necessary goal. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I love Neil for that, but like, we need someone who's a bit more, you know.
We need depth.
Yeah, depth.
Yeah,
exactly.
Depth, more depth.
Yeah. At the start of the season, I remember saying, "Oh, we'll be all right for centre backs this year, won't we?" That turned out well, didn't it? But, yeah, I think even one of our under-23s got injured, didn't he? Against
Sanugi?
Liverpool under.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Songi, I think it is.
And he looked decent when he was in the cup game against Cardiff.
Yeah, he looked really good.
That's a shame.
I felt very sorry for Jeremy Sarmiento though. Like,
that was gutting.
Yeah,
he's that kind of player that can come off
yesterday as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. As I say, Sarmiento is that sort of player that can come off the bench and really excite fans. He's done it a few times, and he's got that low center of gravity. He's not afraid to take anyone on, and that's the attitude that you love to see. And you touched on Ferguson. I think I would have actually rather have seen him start ahead of Connolly. I feel like obviously he's had a great season for the under-23s. His confidence will be right up there, and he'll be itching to play a Premier League football game. So it would be nice to see him against Brentford, hopefully. Especially if this COVID thing goes any further. As I say, I really do think football's going to get stopped. Hopefully not. But as you say, Curtis, is probably the smartest thing to do at the moment.
I feel like it should happen. You know, I feel like just for the safety of the players and the fans and everyone just involved, I just think it would probably be a good idea, you know, because really in the grand scheme of it, football really isn't that important, you know, like as long as you're well and everything, I think that's all that really matters in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't want to touch on the jab situation too much because I know it divides opinion massively. But I saw a tweet that said we've had 3 jabs into our arms, yet we are back to March 2020. Which is like, what's going on?
Yeah, we just got to go along with it. And the quicker that we all, you know, adhere to the necessary things, we can get back to normal, you know, times. Hopefully, you know.
Yeah, I think the thing for most people is that obviously, you know, well, I certainly have. You guys, I'm sure you have, because you're not irresponsible people, I don't think. But I've done everything I can and stuck to everything possible. It's just that frustration, isn't it? Well, it's just that frustration where you've done everything.
I wonder if this might see us move towards a winter break, a bit like Europe, like in terms of football going forward, because obviously winter is always going to be the worst time for illness. So maybe the Premier League might finally, you know, think a winter break, 2 weeks, and see what happens.
I feel like the players will benefit from that as well, and we'll see an increase of the quality of football because so many players get burnt out, so many players have to go off for injury. Yeah, you're going to be happy for sure. So it's one of those things to ponder.
What do we think maybe about games being played behind closed doors again? Something like that.
I don't know.
I don't want it to happen.
No, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah, but you know,
I can see. I hate to say it. Like, I can definitely see a break in football coming up. with all of these postponements going on, and I think that probably is the right thing to do as well. As much as I don't like I wouldn't want it to happen, but and I think that's probably my opinion on the stadiums maybe being shut again. I can see it happening, unfortunately, if things carry on the way that they are. But I wouldn't want it to happen. Like I missed not going to games for 18 months. It was horrible.
Yeah. And I was hoping, because I mean, like Cam, I don't know if you know, I've never been to a Brighton game before, just due to like many reasons. And I was hoping to go this year, and I was like, oh, it's going to be exciting. And what with everything just going the way it's going again, it's just like it makes me really anxious and really worried. And I've got a really bad immune system, and so is my dad. So I have to be very, very, very careful about what I do and who I'm around. So so it's just tricky.
Fair enough. Yeah,
just one of those situations.
Yeah.
I feel like it. Yeah, as you say, Curtis, about closing, behind the closed doors games. The thing is that the situation doesn't change. Because it's football clubs getting hit with COVID. It's players not being available. So it would have to be like a 2-week circuit break where all footballers have to stay in for 14 days or something like that, and then come back to training. They'll probably have to then have maybe 2 weeks training before they're back up to some kind of match fitness, and then restart. So we're looking at minimum a month break until football can even come back to behind the closed doors. But with this thing, it's changing all the time. We don't know what's going to be said next week. We don't know what's happening for Christmas. We don't know what's going on for anything really. So next week we could be told everything's fine, go back to doing what you were, take your masks off again. It could go one of two ways.
I mean, the only silver lining to a postponement is it allows some of our ill players to get a bit better. Because I heard that as I say, like Welbeck's close to coming back. I mean, I know that Alzate was benched, I think, for the Wolves game. So he can do a bit more training and get a bit more comfortable, and hopefully we can start getting some of these ill players back and players with injuries and stuff. So.
That's the silver lining with the United game getting called off. It gives Adam Webster, people like that who are close to coming back but not quite there yet. It gives them a little bit longer to heal, and as you say, people has COVID.
I feel so sorry for Adam West. Adam West, that's not his name. Adam Webster. He's been so injury prone and stuff, man. It's a shame.
He's a fantastic defender, and
we really miss him
better with him in the team.
Yeah, his ability to bring the ball out and just spray it past wherever he wants it to go. And as we say, defending wise as well, he's absolutely top class and probably up there, probably going to overtake Dunk in terms of the best player to play for us, in my opinion. Because what is he, 25, 26?
Yeah, he's still young.
So he's still got some time to play for us. When Dunk eventually retires, I don't know obviously when he will, but,
don't you dare never.
But he's definitely a choice for taking over as captain. He's a Sussex lad. I think he's from Chichester.
Localish.
So that's what I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be
definitely good. Did anyone, Tom or Curtis, did you do any player ratings at all? I know Aaron spoke about it, but
I didn't, because for me it felt a bit unfair because I was distracted with the kitchen being filled with smoke. So it felt a bit unfair. But I will say, generally, first half, very average, lot of huffing and puffing, 5s. Aaron Connolly, a 3. Second half, that was the half that I was dealing with fire. So it would be a bit unfair for me to give ratings.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the man of the match was Sanchez, in my opinion. I mean, because I feel like we could have gone like 2-3 goals down, and he made some really pivotal saves. But really, if you boil it down, I don't even really think Wolves were that good either last night. But they were just better than us. That's the thing. And it's annoying. It's annoying to watch. I mean, like, again, I didn't give ratings out because I think I was very blinded by anger, so I would have gone like 2s, a lot of them 2s, and that wouldn't have been very fair. So I just decided against it. So
Nah, fair enough.
thing is-
Sorry, go on, Tom.
I was just going to touch on Curtis's point about Wolves. The thing is, Wolves, they were never going to turn up and play open, expansive, exciting football because that's not the kind of team they are. They weren't great, but they were just very, very well organised, and we couldn't break them down.
their defensive line was fantastic.
That's what they are, though.
Brilliant.
That's what Wolves are. They're, we saw it against Man City. Even when they went down to 10 players, they set up really well.
A lot of courage there. They have a lot of courage.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they maybe had one player out in Jimenez for a ban. So you're looking at that level as well, where they've got most of their first team, and we're looking at the fringes. But as Graham Potter said, we can't really make many excuses because all of those players that played have played a considerable amount of Premier League football. And Cam, who would you single out as your man of the match, or if you can even pick one?
I thought actually, definitely in the first half, I thought Moempu was actually pretty decent. Aside from that miss, like if you take that kind of out of the equation, I thought he was pretty decent. As was always Tarek Lamptey, and I thought Cucurella, although he was, definitely a little bit more quiet as he usually is. I thought he also played pretty well, but I'd probably agree with Sanchez. I think he probably, kept us in the game, kept us with a chance of at least trying to get an equaliser and not going, 2-3-0 down and it being like a total rout type thing. So, I'd probably say those lot. I did think Moempu did play fairly decent in that first half. He looks an exciting player.
Yeah, but I have noticed something though about Mwepu. I feel like since he's got that Liverpool goal, I feel like he tries to do long shots a lot now.
Yeah.
And like that's cool and everything. I'd love to be able to get long shots every game. That would be fantastic. But
Yeah, maybe he has to sort of reel it back in and come back to basics a little bit.
Because I agree, like he's looked really great in some individual games, like really good. And then he's had some where he hasn't looked as good, but that's just generally the life of a football player. You're not going to be fantastic every single game.
No.
But especially what was going on at the club at the moment with everything, I'd imagine it's quite a stressful period for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And the volume of games as well. That's got to be crazy. So,
yeah, definitely. Just touching on my man of the match, I feel like a person that didn't get many plaudits yesterday was Joel Veltman. I thought he stepped up to the plate unbelievably well. From where I was sitting, he was winning most battles. Obviously, there was a few times they were caught out on the counter with us pushing for an equaliser. There was one moment where Traore ran through and Joel Veltman tried to keep up with him and fell over. But yeah, I really felt like he took his responsibilities on really well. And to be honest, we touched on it a couple of podcasts ago about who I would choose as captain if our captains were out. I really would choose Joel Veltman next time. I felt like he had the leadership that the rest of the 10 lacked, which was a bit of a shame. But
what do you think, Cam? Who would you captain? Do you think? Because we've already answered this question. So
if Lewis Dunk was out, and probably Veltman, or like if I guess Webster is automatically the next choice after Dunk anyway. But if it's a game like last night, and probably Veltman. In all honesty, I think he's probably been the best bargain signing we've ever made, apart from Pascal Gross, which was an absolute steal as well.
It was like 900k or something.
Yeah, it was very, very cheap.
Ridiculous.
And he's done very well for us, in my opinion. Like you touched on from MP, he's had some games which have not been that good, but on the whole, he's been a very, very solid player for us. And it was a very good acquisition for how much we paid for him.
And he scored against Palace.
And
did.
that.
He did. But we won't talk about how that game ended.
No.
No.
Moving swiftly
Sorry,
on
guys.
from that. That's all right, Tom. You always seem to bring the mood down, mate. I
No,
know
he
you
did. He did provide the assist for Morpay in this year at Selhurst. So,
That's
there you
true. That's true.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
Tom
Wow.
triggered us over the Formula One on the last podcast, so
I just like to stir the pot.
he's got a habit of doing that. So yeah, as we've sort of summarised, then a rather disappointing night last night, and yeah, we're completely at a loss as to what needs to change and what we can do with the current set of players that we have, and hopefully the club go all out in January and get that depth that Tom is crying out for.
I'm
So-
sure we'll do some streams around about the window, won't we? Once that's open.
Yeah.
Do some
Yeah,
discussions and stuff.
I'd like to do like a transfer
roundup.
deadline, like a
Should we do a
deadline
deadline
day.
day
This
one?
just in, everyone. Like that.
Yeah. News just in. We've signed absolutely nobody.
We've signed someone and we've loaned them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a bit of a meme in the last transfer window, wasn't it?
Oh,
But
yes.
hey. Oh well. Looking ahead then, guys. We've got Brentford next on Boxing Day. Hopefully.
Yes. Which no one will go to because it's like 8:30 at night on bloody Boxing Day as well.
I've had to book Seagulls travel for £19 each. From
Yeah, no
Lancing.
trains.
No. So I'll be
ridiculous.
going. I'll probably be one of the 5 people that are going.
Be
I know a lot of
really
people
loud
are.
then, Joe. Be really loud.
I'll do my best. I promise not to boo. That's
good.
one thing I'll always promise.
Good.
I'm quite glad there was no booze yesterday, actually. I really felt like there was going to be because it felt really toxic around me. Maybe they all left towards the end because I think we were left with maybe 10,000 people in the ground at a full time. Bit disappointing, but oh well. So yeah, if we do play Brentford, let's have some score predictions. We will start with you, Tom.
If Mopé's back, I'm going to go. I can't bring myself to go for a loss. So I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton. Mopé, brace.
Love that. Curtis?
It's Christmas, so I've got to try and be a little bit positive. I think 1-0 win. Trossard goal in the second half. There we go. I'm going to be very specific.
Ooh, very specific. What minute and what second?
Hold on 1 second. 76th. Why not?
Okay, cool. We'll take that. And Cam, what are we thinking?
I think maybe a 2-0. I think maybe. I was going to go 2-1, but if we have a few of our defenders back, then I think we could potentially keep a clean sheet. But yeah, Morpay and Trossard, I think, to score the goals.
Yeah. Decent.
It's funny, isn't it? We haven't scored an open play at the Amex since September, and we've all gone for like 2 goals.
We have to, because if we don't, we have to remain positive somehow. So
we do.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly that, Curtis. Exactly that. I've always been the pessimist when it comes to predictions. So let's change my tone a little bit and hope that boosts the players or changes something in the universe. Let's go for a 3-0 win.
Like that.
And a Neil Morpay hat trick. There you go.
Oh, I'd love that. It'd be so good for Neil.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I'd love to see that. And just lastly, quick fire. Tom, 1 word on yesterday's game. Go.
Fire!
Curtis?
Dire.
Cam?
Disappointing.
Shit. Bye, guys. Take care, guys. Up the Albion and stay safe. Oh, follow us on Twitter.
Oh, wait.
Over there.
That way.
Wait, where am I pointing?
That way. That way.
There we go. That.
Cool. All right.
We're so
Nice one, guys. We so are. Right. Bye-bye.